Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
So one of the things that really struck me is obviously how moving the film is, with some deeply upsetting scenes, and it's a hard watch.
It is, actually. I forget sometimes how hard a watch it is, because when you've been making a film and living with it for as long as we have to as independent filmmakers, you become somewhat slightly numb, even though you're telling stories that matter to you. And so having left it so long and seeing it, I was kind of like, whoa, Amma. Oh, the lights are gone. Yeah, that's how dark it was. But yeah, no, it's a tough watch, there's no doubt, yeah.
So one of the things that really caught my eye was just how relevant the film is to today, with the rise of nationalism and Brexit, obviously, and immigration and Islamophobia as well.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know, firstly, kind of back then, what were your inspiration behind it, and sort of why this story?
It's interesting because when I started to put this film together, it's really loosely based on several true stories. And when I started to put this film together, nobody was having the kind of conversations that we're having now. I mean, obviously, we were having conversations about race, but nobody was having conversations about marginalised groups in general, and how, you know, that sense that when you exclude any group from society, all of society is affected. And when you exclude any group from society, actually the first two groups that are really affected are generally women and people of colour. We're the people who feel it most. We're the people who, you know, you think about, violence of any kind, and you find areas where people are excluded, the violence is a little bit higher. And so, and I wanted to look at racism as a symptom, not to say that it often isn't a cause, but in this instance I wanted to look at it as a symptom. You know, what are a set of circumstances that could cause a bunch of damaged, excluded people to behave in the way that I was reading in the papers quite often, rather than just seeing it as a headline. Look at it as a part of society that, in a way, we're all culpable in. We're all a part of. You know, Hassan. My dad's in every single film, and Hassan in this film is my dad. I remember, you know, when they used to put lit rags through our letterbox, you know, to try and set the house on fire, or they used to write graffiti on our walls. And I remember my dad, if he would catch any of them, would like literally look them in the eye. I'd be a 10-year-old girl, and he'd look them in the eye and say, "You're not even my equal." And I would think, my day's going to be so bad today because you said that to these guys. I'm going to suffer so badly. And yet, he was right, but telling them what they already knew wasn't making the situation any easier. And so nobody was having this conversation. I mean, today we look at Brexit, today we look at Trump being voted in America, and we talk about excluded groups, and we specifically talk about excluded white, undercast groups who may have contributed to the vote because they felt like they didn't have a voice, and they felt like they weren't contributing to their community, and we have been sort of tone deaf to that to a certain extent. And to, you know, I was in a way prophesizing today when I wrote this movie. I was saying, listen, if we don't listen, we're all going to suffer. And, you know, in some ways I think we see the results of that today.